And now, for the star of the show, pan sauteed sole. Now, I have a nonstick skillet here. For those of you who are a little nervous about fish, saying, oh, mine always sticks, I don't know what to do, get yourself a nonstick skillet and give yourself a little bit of an easier time. But I need to get this heated up. So I'm getting it on here and getting over to the fish. I have two beautiful pieces of fish right here. I'm using sole fillets here, but you can really use any delicately textured fish fillet. And you want to make sure you sprinkle it with a little bit of salt. And then I just sprinkle it also with some finely ground flour. Another little tip that I've learned from some chef friends of mine. And I'm just dusting that flour over top. And that way, it's not going to have too thick of a skin of flour on the outside. Get it to the other side. And the same thing, I put the salt on right next to the fish because I want that flavor to be inside the fish. And that's important when you're having such a lovely, delicately balanced meal. You really want to have a little bit of salt to bring out the flavor. So that, a little bit more of the fine flour. Make sure that the pan is not too hot. I don't want it to burn when I stick my butter in there, but I also don't want it to just sit there because that's important to get that nice outside on the fish. About 1.5 tablespoons of butter that I'm going to stick into 2 spots, and I can see that I've preheated this pan very, very well. It's foaming, and I want to really foam it up. That's key. Not too hot, but I'm going to crank it up just a little bit so when the cold fish, or not so cold fish, actually take this out of the fridge a little bit before you use it. Because tempering fish is as important as tempering meat so that when it hits the pan, it cooks well instead of steaming first. Now that looks great. So I just stick it right in, and you should hear a sizzle, and that's what we have. Now another little part of sauteing like this, it gets in there, don't touch it. Don't be moving it around. I want to form a little bit of a coating on the fish that has some of the caramelization of the butter. I'm going to turn it up a little bit. So I'm going to keep this fish going. And of the, let's see, flour, salt, fish, lemon, 4-ingredient meal on under 3 minutes to make the fish. Sorry, you have to try this. If you aren't someone who usually cooks fish, this is a really, really good place to start. And a very, very classic kind of preparation. So right here, I'm just thinly slicing the lemon because the lemon's going to go right into the pan when I flip that fish. It's just one of my favorite flavors in life. Thing about fish, it should smell like the sea. Shouldn't smell fishy. People ask me sometimes, my fish smells fishy, and I'm like, well, get your fish from another location then. Because fresh fish should just smell like the sea, and it should really not be anything that is unpleasant to smell when you're cooking it. All right, so we're going to give this a turn, because I can see that it's ready to go. A little bit of a shake, and just turn it over. And it's beautiful. I've got that color I was looking for. All right. Lovely. Now in goes the lemon. Just scatter it about. What I want to do here is just get the lemon warmed through. Doesn't really have to cook. And then I'll just shake it around, and it'll just slightly perfume the fish. All right. And you begin to see how the fish is slowly pulling apart. Don't overcook your fish at this point. It's really something that's going to take in that heat if you have your pan properly heated and cook through. And as it starts to pull apart like that, you pretty much know that it's done. So I am going to give myself a plate of fish with the sides, and you can see why this is something that captured my attention and is something I wanted to learn to make at home. All right onto the plate. A few of these warm lemon slices right onto the fish.